Hi, I'm Jérémy.
And I'm Ben.
Together we are 15 degrees north.
Today we're going to show you the sights and sounds of Frankfurt and the Rhine Valley.
And if we're being technical, the Moselle and the Rhine region.
All right. Frankfurt is a city in western Germany that has become one of the biggest financial centres in Europe.
Bombed to hell and back during World War II, a towering city of glass and chrome has risen from the ashes to become Germany's fifth largest cities.
However, its metropolitan area is large and densely populated, making it the fourth largest in the entire EU.
This region is the economic and industrial heart of Europe, so on a business level, it's an exceptionally important area. But what about from a tourism perspective?
Well, the surrounding area certainly doesn't look like this. In direct contrast to the rest of the area around it, pretty modern place.
Frankfurt is one of the de facto capital of the European Union, alongside Brussels, Strasbourg and Luxembourg. It's also the home of the European Central Bank and subsequently the official hometown of the euro.
As if currency can have a hometown. What's the hometown of GBP?
London? Duh.
So what do you think of Frankfurt, Jérémy?
Well, yeah, there's not much to it.
I know.
Yeah.
It's got a nice skyline.
Yeah.
Lots of
big
glass.
skyscrapers, European finance hub. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
It's kind of very different from the other German things that we've seen around the region, which is all really pretty and Germanic and medieval.
You don't need much here. Time here.
No, exactly. You kind of come here to go and see the other stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you're a banker. And then this is the place to come. Thankfully, there are some parts of Frankfurt that were lovingly reconstructed after the war.
Its central square and the old town around it have been restored to their former glory. But this is a relatively small area of the city, which is otherwise quite the concrete jungle.
Before 1939, Frankfurt contained one of Germany's largest medieval centres, but following bombing raids from the Allies and an extensive land battle on its streets in 1945, only 40% of the city's structures survived.
After the partition of Germany by the Iron Curtain, it was intended that Frankfurt would become the capital of West Germany.
However, they chose Bonn as the capital instead because, well, it's not as good as Frankfurt.
Why would the West Germans have wanted a crap capital?
Well, they wanted their capital to be Berlin, but that sat in the wrong half of Germany. The school of thought was that if they built a beautiful new capital in Frankfurt, when the reunification eventually happened, it would remain the capital of the entire country. So they chose a boring, unremarkable city to be the temporary administrative capital instead.
And now Berlin is capital once again.
It's as if they planned it all along.
You don't have to stray far to get to see some of that gorgeous Germanic charm, however.
We used Frankfurt as our entry point into the region, hiring a car and exploring the area to its northwest, specifically heading to the Rhine Gorge.
If we're being specific, the region is known as the Upper Middle Rhine Valley.
Not the Upper Rhine or the Middle Rhine?
Well, both are different places.
Is there a Lower Middle Rhine Valley?
Of course.
It's just a very specific name.
Well, that's German for you.
Well, where does the lower middle end and the upper bottom begin?
Well, that's one of life's great mysteries.
The Rhine itself is pretty vast, and there aren't many bridges over it, so you'll probably find yourself crossing by ferry just like we did.
It used to serve at the frontier of the Roman Empire, with the conquered Gauls on one side and on the other, the barbarians.
Would you say that the eastern bank was more barbaric than the western bank?
Oh gosh, it was terrifying.
The river has served as a natural border for several empires since, so unsurprisingly you can find castles every mile or so along both sides.
You can visit nearly all of them, but we picked Rheinstein Castle to have a poke around.
Built in the 14th century, it was fully revamped in the 19th when the Romantic period saw medieval structures given a new lease of life as the nobility fell in love with the grandeur of history.
This, like many castles on the Rhine, became less of a fortress and more of a trophy home.
I mean, who doesn't have their own castle nowadays?
Well, exactly. This was our favorite town we visited on the Rhine.
In English, we would call it Bacharach, but in French, you would say
Bacharach.
and in German, it would be Bacharach. You decide which is the nicest way of saying its name.
German is not the prettiest language, is it?
Wherever you are in the area, though, you can always be sure never to be too far from a good old castle.
Does anyone actually not live in a castle around here?
Apparently not.
So in this part of Germany there are castles absolutely everywhere.
Seriously, on every street corner there is a castle on a hill looking over something.
Almost every village has one.
Yeah, and it's not just in the Rhine Valley, because here in the nearby valleys of the Lahn and the Moselle, completely full
Everywhere.
of castles. Everywhere! There's quite clearly a visiting season here for all of the castles. Until the 31st of October, everything is open.
But from the 1st of November, everything is shut. And today is the 2nd of November.
There's also a lot of forest around here too.
You're not a million miles away from Germany's famous Black Forest here.
Gatto. Halloween in Germany. There's just something so Halloweeny about it here.
But obviously go around a few bends in the path and of course you'll find...
Wait, don't tell me! A castle!
Correct!
And this one's a good one.
You can't help but expect a knight on a horseback to come riding out in pursuit of a dragon on a quest to save a maiden from an evil wizard.
There aren't any dragons in Germany, actually.
Prove it, Welshman.
Looks like a Disney castle, or one owned by Dracula.
Well, no, actually it's the Eltz family, a German noble family from the 12th century.
I'm stupid. We loved our trip around this charming region of Germany.
Frankfurt might be a booming modern metropolis, but its surrounding countryside certainly hasn't lost its charm.